Sindra Weber, also known as Wiyaka Westera, in the Lakota language, Pretty Feather, right? We're going to turn this over to her. She is the District Title VI Indian Education, Native American Education Specialist for our local San Bernardino City Unified School District. Okay, so yay, let's give her a applause.
Give it up.
And she was telling me right now, 100% graduation, or what was it? 100% graduation rate in her program from the Native. My children were in her program. My daughter, Maya Isabel, and I think it was the third grade, right, when they bring them here. And she still has her title, her tribal passport, the thing with the little kid, they do the tribal, and we still have the little clapper sticks. We still have it from when she was in the third grade. Now she's all grown up. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so our speakers are going to speak from the table. But before they start, we want to draw your attention to the large screens.
Third generation Mexicano. I go as Chicano. What my parents instilled in me, my mom for one, was to always help. I mean, if you could feed one person, you could feed 10. You should always feed people. That's my mom. That's my mom all the time to this day. My dad was the kind of guy that a man always has money in his front pocket. You know, even though we have credit cards nowadays, debit cards, to this day I have money in my front pocket. When I was 8 years old, I used to make $1 a day, $30 a month. And when I would get paid, I'd have to give $15, half of my paycheck, to my dad, and that was to help the house. And I didn't get it at the time, you know, I was 8 years old, paying rent, right? But, you know, he instilled in me to be a hard worker, which I've always been, to be loyal to the people, always have respect. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And if I ever call you ma'am or sir, and you're like 30 years younger than me, I don't mean no disrespect, it's just the way I was raised, you know, with a bunch of respect. I never thought I was going to be an actor, man. I come from a gang life, you know, street life, and 29 years ago, I got clean and sober. I needed something to fill that void. I've always liked the movies, and so I went to all the proper channels. I did theater. I did 20 stage productions before I did my first TV show. I told my agent, let me be Emilio Rivera, you know, and there's nobody out there like that, you know, at least that plays him right. And I went with it, man, you know, and it worked out, you know. The people started seeing some realism because it was real. And to create Marcus Alvarez is, you know what, man, is he's Emilio Rivera, you know, 29 years ago. You know, except Emilio Rivera was more of a hothead. Marcus Alvarez is more like a calm and collective, you know, very smart cat. I've lived like 8 lives, man, you dig? I really have, and sometimes I wonder how I got out of some situations. But those experiences have helped who I am as an actor and as a person. Every time I come to work is put this cross right here. You know, many years ago, before my father passed away, we were sitting down having some beers and stuff, and he asked me, he goes, hey man, I've always liked this tattoo, you know. Everybody, you know, a lot of people have this in the neighborhood. He goes, would you put it on me? You know, and I said, of course, you know. So I, you know, got the thread and, you know, tattooed it on his hand. Came out really cool, man. So I do this for my father in homage to my father. And not only on Marcus Alvarez, you know, but anytime I play a character like this, you know, from the streets, it would always be on my hand in homage to my father, man. It's a good memory, man, you know.
This gentleman here, I am very proud to call him friend. I'm very proud of the things that I personally have seen him do, especially in our brown community and our red community. And I've worked alongside of him, 4 or 5 times now? And very, very proud of him. And so, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite bad boy, Emilio Rivera.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored. You know, I didn't know they were going to show those tapes. I didn't, and so it kind of like broke my heart a little bit. So I didn't want to start crying before the damn show. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very honored to be here, man, and I'm here because I know it says enough is enough, and I come from a different time, but the violence has to stop at home first before anywhere else. You do what I'm saying? And I only say that now because maybe you can relate to it because the big time jump. I was raised in the 60s and 70s, and back then, violence was just part of the gig, man. You know what I mean? You could beat your old lady, and the cops would come, and is everything okay? Even though she had a big old black eye, everything was okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it was. And but it had to stop there because what happened when I saw. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into this, but I have to, to get the message out there. You dig? And but I saw it a lot, in my family and in the house, and even the houses I visited. And you thought that was love because the next day the wife would be there cooking with a big old black eye, and wow, that's love. And but really, that's you got to get away from that, man. Because see, what happened with me, I saw it for so many years. I thought it was part of life, and I made it a big part of my life. And I got numb to it. And my dad and his brothers were big boxing fans, and they would watch the fights all the time. They would get a little bit drunk, and then after the fights were done, we knew we were next, and they would bet on us, to beat the shit out of each other in the backyard. Now, it was good to be, to make you tough, but if I lost in the backyard, I would get my ass kicked at home, because you were representing the house now, even though you were 8 years old. And what happens there, man? We couldn't cry. We weren't allowed to cry. So all my life, I cried with these, and after a while, you become like you need to let it go. And all I knew how to let it go was with these because that's all I saw. You dig? And when I was 17, I was a great athlete. That's the only thing I could ever do good in life was fight and play baseball. I could say I was amazing in those things. But then, I hung around with a lot. I got jumped in the gang when I was 12 years old, real young. By the time I was 14, I was very well known for bad things, because I was bred to be that guy. And then when I was 17, I did heroin for the first time, and I OD'd. And thanks to my homeboys, they kept me alive for 4 hours, and I survived it. And but I loved it, and I went on a 11-year run. Am I getting too heavy? We're over 18 over here, right? See, there's different stories for different things, but I think I look around and I see a lot of these kids got to hear these stories. I mean, when I go to elementary school, believe me, it's a different story. You dig what I'm saying? And but I got to tell you what it is, where I'm at right now because of where I've been, And so, I like to do a lot of heroin and cocaine intravenously. And when the crack cocaine came about, back in the 80s, 89, when I started hitting it, it really took over my life, man. That was the devil's drug. They're all devil's drugs, but that was for me because as long as you had money, you could keep on going, 3 days straight, until your heart exploded. And then I can't go too deep into why I got clean and sober because that came around and bit me in the ass one time in court. But but the thing is that I'm going to say God a lot in here. I'm not a church-going guy, but I'm a God-fearing man because at the end of the day, that's I don't want this to turn into a group therapy session, man. But it's a thing, man. And anyway, I got clean and sober, and you got to understand, when I was a kid, my dad didn't know how to read or write, and I had a real bad speech impediment. So we were like the odd couple, and he knew where I went. He would just say, "Don't talk, because you're an embarrassment," So I had that against me a lot. I had these big old ears, so I had big ears and I couldn't talk right. So I was picked on a lot, and then when I came home crying, he said, "You come crying again, I'll beat the shit out of you." And I never came crying again, man, But I held a lot of shit aside and let it out with these. And I remember I had to go to a lot of diversion programs, stay out of prison. A lot of I used to catch a lot of assault cases, So in those days, you could either go to prison or you could take these diversion programs, right? So I've seen a lot of psychiatrists over the years, and last time I got clean, That's 33 years ago, man. My mentor. It's the best thing I ever did, man. And my mentor, I was 6 months clean, but I still had the repercussions of crack cocaine. So this eye would slip, and then this hand would always twitch, because I was doing it $400 a day, right? And so I still had all those. It took a while to get normal again. And he told me, what was the most, thing that made you happy in your life, And I was always the athlete, so I always struck out the guy or always had the home run. I had a lot of those days. But I remember when I was 8 years old, as bad as I stuttered, I got to do a play called Rumpelstiltskin, and I was the lead, And I didn't stutter one time, man, and everybody applauded for me, right? And it felt, that's the thing that made me feel so good, man, So I tell my psychiatrist this, and he goes, "Then you need to be an actor, man, And so he sent me to a guy, and he met me. He was scared of me because I think I look rough now. I used to look rough, man, all attitude, And so he looked at me and he said, "I don't know what to do with you, man." He goes, "First of all, I got to humanize you before you become an actor because you're not human." He goes, "Look at you." He goes, "You're tough. You can fight. You know how to keep your mouth shut. One day you're going to be a great convict." He goes, "Why don't you decide to be free?" So for the 6 months at his house, I would go every Wednesday to his house and he would let me cry. And it was cool because I thought I could cry in there as an actor and not feel less of a man, but I was releasing all the pain, It was a lot of man, And then it started to get easier. Like I had a lot of shit inside, man. You didn't know what you had inside until you let it go. So you kids, let me tell you something. When they say men don't cry, no. Real men cry, man. Let it go. You dig? You got to understand, I hang out with some of the roughest guys you will ever meet, the worst of the worst, because that's only we had a little clique like that. And you know what? When we were alone, they cried. They just couldn't show it in front of the homeboys, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a sign of a weakness, And no, let it go, because otherwise you'll have that pain inside you, man, Let it go, let it go. And it feels good. Sometimes, I just go in the house and I go in my room and I just cry. It just feels good, It's just for a lot of things that come up. All of a sudden you could be laying down and, I'll be laying down and I think of something happened, but I wasn't allowed to cry. And then I just go in the room and I let it out, man. It's the cleansing. Let it go, you dig? I've been blessed, I've been blessed to do the work that I do. And I always put any character I played on TV, you're going to see a lot of me inside that person, you dig? Whether it's good or bad. That's what I think God kept me alive. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, man, when I don't know where to turn to no more. I didn't know where to turn to no more. I would lock myself in the closet. I know, back then we had cassette players, it was a 90-minute tape, you remember the ones that flipped over by themselves? And I would put this one song, man, called Deliver the Word by War, and it would play 90 minutes straight, and I would be injecting myself for like 8 hours in the closet with a little candle in there, man, and then I came out one day, and I was just tired, man. I was just tired. My life was, don't get me wrong, I was a functional addict. I was a mechanical engineer. Check this out. I was a mechanical engineer for 14 years for Hostess Cakes. But see, Hostess Cakes was located in my neighborhood, so they couldn't fire me out of fear. You know what I'm saying? So I did whatever I wanted to do. It was terrible. I had to do what I had to do, because I had a family, but it just, everything I despise now, I thought it was a great thing back then, you know what I mean? And, and the thing is, the way I can't get rid of it, man, is that, because my heart is to give, man. My heart is to give. You have to smile, man. Smile. You see somebody. In 2002, I did a movie. I had been acting already about 10 years, and I had done a movie that brought me some notoriety. I didn't know this. I was just happy to be working. And I was shopping at Home Depot, and there was, every time I went down the aisle, there was 3 gang guys, and they were following me at every aisle. I could see them, right? And so I've always been a very confrontational guy, even though I already had a good life. And so I went to the screwdriver section, grabbed the screwdriver, and I said, "Hey, man, you know me or what?" And they said, "Yeah, bro, we saw you in a movie last night, I felt so stupid, bro, you know? And from that day on, in 2002, man, I just learned to smile. You know, hardcore, whatever, I smile. And if they smile back, it's good. If they don't, well, you got problems, you know? But it's usually a smile, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just keep smiling, man. You know, the more I smiled in my business, the more I worked, you know? So just be happy, you know? It's like, we've got too much going on nowadays, man, you know? Be that person that smiles and bring that smile to a person because you don't know what they're going through, you know? And I just try to smile. You know, I've been here today, and since I got off the car, you've been so gracious coming up to me and wanting a picture. And you know what, man? Anywhere I'm at, you come up to me, and I will always stop for a picture. I don't give. It makes me proud, man, because you know, back in the day, you know, there was probably a lot of pictures. A lot of times we could have just took a picture instead of a fight. You know what I mean? Now, I don't want to go too much more because I know there's some questions I want to be asked. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I want to thank you so much for coming out and seeing me. I'm so proud to be here. And then Miss Huerta was here as well. I got to take some pictures with her. That's a national treasure right there, if you don't know, okay? But thank you for your time, man. So, thank you. That was the best, man. Gracias. Thank you.
My name is Crystal, and I just wanted to thank you for being the representation that we always needed for our youth and for any other adult around because, well, age doesn't matter. You represent everyone. But as you may know, you play many various characters in different films and shows, but you're always unapologetically proud of your cultura and yourself. What advice would you give us and me in order to be our authentic selves in this Anglo-dominating culture with such strong and challenging social norms?
That's a great question, man. Beautiful question. But you answered your question. You answered the question already. Is just be yourself. You dig. You know, when I first got into this business, you know, I looked the way I look. You know, and a little bit more bigger, and a little different. You know, I was more big. Anyway, my agent said, "Hey, man, we got to cut off your mustache and let your hair grow because we want you to be the new Jimmy Smits, the new A. Martinez." And you know what? And I did. And for 2 years I worked. I really did. I did these soap operas, Bold and the Beautiful, all that stuff, right? But then I said, we already have a Jimmy Smith. We already have an A. Martinez. Let me be Emilio Rivera. You know, there's nobody like me. And I ran with it, and here I am. You dig what I'm saying? So always be yourself. That's the main thing. You dig? I'm gonna tell you a real quick story. I know I got stories, but I know we got time, but we don't have that much time. But I gotta tell you this, man. You know, when my first gig ever, I had done 20 stage productions before I did my first TV show, and I got a big gig in San Diego with Lorenzo Lamas. You know, and I remember getting there, and I had this huge trailer, man. I was like proud, right? And I used to smoke a lot back then. I was cigarettes, and then I was already clean, all right. And I was sitting on my stoop and I was smoking a cigarette, right? And there was a Chicano that was in San Diego. He comes up, he goes, "Hey, bro," he was a background actor. He goes, "Hey, man, how do I get to be this?" And I go, "Well, bro, I did theater, I did stand-up." I started, you know, breaking it down to him, right? And my co-star next to me, who was just another co-star like me, no big name, and he comes up to me, he goes, "Let's take a walk, bro." So we take a walk, and he tells me, extras trying to talk to us. See, I didn't know there was a hierarchy. Because I'm from the theater, we're all one ensemble, right? I didn't know there was like, we're better than whatever, right? I didn't know this, which is not. So we walk, I go, okay, so I go back to my stoop, I start smoking a cigarette, and then the star of the show comes in, right? He comes in, and there was a lady sweeping around the honey wagon, the trailers, and he goes, "Come here, let me help you with that." So he gets down with his dustpan, bro. This is the star of the show now. And he helps the lady with and he puts in the trash for her, and she gives him a big hug, and I said, "This guy told me I can't talk to extras, and I got the star of the show helping the lady sweep the floor." I go, "I'm going to be that guy." And I've been that guy ever since, man. You dig what I'm saying? So where are you at, Crystal? Where are you at? Just be you. And you know what? Be nice to everybody. Don't do it for no reason. Oh, he's a big shot. No. I don't give a who it is. Just be nice.
Yeah, you want to do one more? We could do one more question. We could do one more question. Okay, go for it. Talk loud.
I just want to say that thank you for being
I didn't want to be, look, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I love my dad with all my heart. I love my dad with all my heart. I didn't want to be nothing like my dad because he made me to be an animal. I was an animal. I could tell you that right now. You have no idea, you know. The thing is, that, and I broke that cycle with my kids. You know, I have kids that are 41 and two 42-year-olds. I have a 17-year-old now, but I made it that they would never be like me. You know, don't ever be. I had to break that chain, man. That's the thing is that whatever, just love. It's so much easier. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're going to ask Emilio if he'd do this honor of joining us in this little part of the stage. If you come join us here. Okay, there's Jesse. Okay, right here. If you do us a favor. Okay, so we all know that the Mayans call him Padrino or El Padrino, right? Okay, so now in a twist of real life imitating art, today we're gonna bestow upon him the title of El Padrino, all of us in our community. So, Padrino, hold on, I got something really nice written out. I thought maybe I can do it, but I couldn't do it. Okay. For your accomplishments and lifetime service to our community, we award you with our Lead Education and Advocacy Day Medallion of Honor and bestow upon you title Padrino de Honor. You want to say some words and then? Yeah, well, hold on, we're going to do one more. Hold on, well, yeah, take a picture there. We're going to do one more thing. Yeah. With them. Okay,
Hang there.
so hang on.
I was raised with Lakota traditions, and there are certain things women aren't allowed to do, and from my generation, I don't know about your generation, but mine. And I want you to know that in our way of honoring, we can't give buffalo or horses anymore, although you probably would like a horse. But I want you to know that I called up to my people at Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and I asked them, because women don't do this, I asked them if I could honor Emilio with the Pendleton blanket and our way of honoring people. And the elder from the Oglala Lakota Nation tells me last night, you know, you're getting pretty up there. You're pretty much of an elder now yourself. You called us to ask us this. And so I respect the Hades out of this man. And I hope that one day that when we're riding Harleys, I can whip his ass and go faster than him. But he does drive fast. But he has 7 beautiful Harleys in his garage, and he's got this really nice turquoise one that every occasionally once in a while he'll go, you know, I'm thinking about selling this. And I keep telling him, just drive right down to Palm Springs, Morongo Reservation, hang a left before you get on the reservation. My garage is right there. But Emilio, and this is cool because I've never gotten to do this before. I love you to death. I love everything that you've done. I love what you've done for my students. They still talk about you. And my way of honoring is this Pendleton.
And I will wear it proudly.
You know, Sindra, we've been together like 5 years now. I've been working with the students about 5 years now, right? And you know what, man? You know, what's good about this is that we come from the same lifestyle, different but the same. So we can relate to each other. You dig what I'm saying? So, you know, be proud of me for what I've done, but be proud of her what she's done. 100% graduation rate. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's reaching out. And you know, I gotta say, you know, the only thing different over here is that because I'm on TV, you get to see me. But there's so many people who gotten clean by the grace of God. Again, I'm not a church-going guy, but I'm a God-fearing man because when I had my worst time, I called him out like an ugly, like I wanted to call him out to fight. Like, where you at? He said, where you at? Come on, homie, let's go. Come on, that's all I knew. And the next day, I never got high again. You know what I mean? He's always there. Just ask for help. You dig what I'm saying? It's real, man. You dig? It's so weird how people get put in your place. Come here, brother. There's another brother, you know, 11 years clean now. How many years?
Yeah. 6, 12, 11, 12.
Yeah, 12 years clean. And, you know, same thing, you know, just that you don't hear about it 'cause he's not on TV. But he's the executive director now, brother. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you know, just. 32 years clean over here. Hey, man, you know what? Like I said, ask God for it. If you got into something, man, hit up God. He's there, man. He really is, you know.
Let's take our picture now. Okay, so ya saben, padrino. Let's give it up again for our padrino. Okay. Yes. Ya basta. Ya basta. ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? Yes. Chicano. Power. ¡Que viva! ¡Que viva! Okay, give us 2 minutes. We'll come back.
Two. So we're gonna set up a step and repeat right behind here at the theater. Let's get in a single file line. If you want to take a picture, it's gonna be right behind this door. Thank you.
We're here with Emilio. Hey, good to see you, brother. Emilio, I'm going to say this. I know they're keeping it short, but you know what? We had you on, it was a while back.
Aaron and Kelly.
Yeah. And you came right away, and you were very real at the end of it when we were off. And I said, you need to tell that story. It's going to, and now you're telling that story to everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you are, because a lot of guys are like, I'm tough, but I do not change. I've heard it said, I don't change for anyone. I said, whoa. What would you say to that?
Well, I'm gonna be the same guy inside all the time, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I share a love and I share with a smile now, because you don't have to know what I'm feeling inside. You know what I mean? But I don't need to, because I'm in a bummer or whatever I'm going through, doesn't mean you gotta be going through it.
Yeah.
Like, we only post the good stuff, right, brother? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because we can do bad by ourselves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I just whatever I'm going through, because we still go through things, no matter if we're clean or sober, you still got to go through life. But
But when it goes with you, it's always going to be a smile, brother, because you bring
Yeah.
a smile to my face. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because you're very real. And I think that's where people connected. Sometimes people come, they say a very general, "I changed," but they don't go back so far.
Because I'm so old.
But back to when they were like in trouble, when they had to like release. So a lot of people they release all the time,
Right.
but they don't know what that means in the street. What does that mean in the street when you release in the street?
And the thing is, brother, is that because of who I was and how mean I was, I could change. And now when you're living in that kind of lifestyle, you're not allowed to change. You know what I'm talking about? Or if you can't, if you try to, maybe you get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to always do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. And that's why I tell kids not to join the gangs and do that, this and that, because 95% of the guys won't be able to do that. There's only a few of us that can say, "Hey, I'm done."
What do you think? Because I know you mentioned, you alluded to it. God kept you alive. Was there a moment you thought you were not going to be alive?
Well, I OD'd 3 times. I died 3 times. So if God decides to take me tomorrow, I don't want to go. Believe me, I have a great life. But if He does take me tomorrow, I'm okay with that because I have 33 years more than I was supposed to have, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've been through a lot. I appreciate you sharing some of your stories. I'm sure there's endless.
Too many.
Yeah,
But what happens when you don't care about living or dying, you put yourself in so many predicaments that you don't know how you're going to get out of them.
Yeah.
And I did enough of that, believe me.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I think that people want to talk about in our community is lifting, this narrative around mental health and even being emotional, being able to express what one is feeling. I love the way you kind of made that so human, and you brought the texture of all that you've experienced in the little bit of time that we had with you today.
Well, now we have more resources that teach us that. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I teach that because we have to have it because back then you were not allowed to. You know what I'm saying? And all that pent up, frustration and nervousness is going to get you in trouble, man. Cost you your life. Cost somebody else's life.
Absolutely.
Man, let yourself feel. It's we're human.
Yeah.
We're human.
And what message do you have? Because there were obviously people in your life that helped change that narrative for you. What would you say to the person listening right now that says, I want to make that change in my family? What can they do?
Don't be afraid to do it. Just do it, man.
Be the first one to cry.
Just do it, man. Familia first. At the end of the day, if a lot of times it should always be the familia pulling for you, and sometimes it's not going to be that way. So what's good is that you can make your own familia. Like how they say, you have family by blood, but he's family because I want him to be family.
Yeah.
You can do that, But you got to find the right people, And keep the circle small. I do that more now, and it's more less drama.
Yeah, right?
If they come with too much drama, I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah.
I can do bad by myself, brother. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to be worried about what's going on over there.
Right.
I got something to worry about over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care of your circle. Take care of your take care of your house first, man.